Welcome, God-chosen ones. Happy new month and welcome to December. Do not be fooled. God is not mocked, because whatever a man sows, he will reap. Galatians 6:7. The holidays are here, a moment for pleasure, celebration, and connection. However, for your opponents, the Christmas holidays are shaping up to be the worst ever. Why? Because the energy they used in attempting to suppress your light has returned, and they are now sitting in the dark, choking on the results. This is a little-known fact. According to studies, the holidays are the most stressful time of year for many people, particularly those who are experiencing guilt, regret, or unresolved karma. Imagine how much more difficult it is when you are bearing the burden of evil intentions. This backfired badly. This year, the tables have shifted in ways even Santa could not have predicted. While you unwrapped blessings, others unwrapped turmoil. Trapped in a season when no gift can alleviate their agony. Stay closely, because we're going to investigate why the season of joy has turned into a nightmare for those who dared to challenge the chosen one. Spoiler alert, it's not simply karma, it's cosmic justice with a festive twist. Number 1, the gift of responsibility comes late. The holidays have an odd way of compelling individuals to reflect on the decisions they've made for your enemy during the previous year. This season is not about pleasure or serenity. It's about addressing a reality they can't avoid. All year they may have schemed, gossiped, or planned against you, believing that their activities would go undetected or have no repercussions. But life does not operate that way. And now, at the one time of year when introspection is required, they're caught in a cycle of responsibility. They sense the consequences of their acts in unexpected ways. It isn't simply about the harm they caused you. It is about the harm they caused to themselves in the process. This is not karma in the abstract. It is tangible. Their connections are strained because others can see through their lies. Their finances are tighter because diversions and confusion have taken over their attention. Their mental tranquility is disrupted since they spent their energy on negativity rather than improvement. What makes matters worse is the contrast. While you thrive, surrounded by the light of progress and thankfulness, they languish in the void they created. They are troubled by the notion that you have moved on without thinking about them, while they are still caught in their bitterness. Every artificial chuckle they give in front of family, every upbeat song they hear reminds them of how empty their own lives seem. The holidays accentuate everything, especially remorse for your adversaries. This season is more than simply a reminder of their past mistakes. It shines a bright light on the fact that they spent so much time attempting to pull you down that they neglected to build themselves up. And now they can't escape the responsibility that awaits them at every step. Their Christmas spirit non-existent. They are far into the reckoning process. Second, your glow-up shatters their illusions. Your adversaries believed they could bring you down. They soothed themselves with the delusion that you would remain trapped, defeated, or insignificant. But vacations have a way of revealing the truth. And your glow-up is suddenly the one thing they can't get away from. Every achievement you've had, every milestone you've reached, serves as a stark reminder of how horribly their attempts to ruin you failed. They don't simply feel envious. It's the unpleasant realization that they've gambled on the incorrect result. This season is all about celebrating and connecting, but for them, it's a constant reminder of their own flaws. While you're succeeding in your profession, relationships, or personal development, they're still in the same position, spinning their wheels. They can't ignore your success since it's visible wherever they look. Mutual buddies bring up your successes. Social media highlights your achievements. Even their own thoughts betray them when they reflect on how you've climbed beyond their expectations. The toughest thing for them is not only watching you achieve, but knowing they had a part in it. Their efforts to obstruct your blessings only increased your concentration. Every challenge they placed at you served as a learning opportunity. That's a tough pill to take, particularly at a season when they should be enjoying their own accomplishments rather than seeing someone else's life shine brighter than their own. Here's the kicker. Your shine is effortless. You aren't flaunting it or shoving it in anyone's face, but it is irrefutable. It is written all over you, your confidence, vitality, and tranquility. The more they see it, the more depressed they get over their inability to pull you down. This isn't your typical season of success. It is time for them to face the consequences, and there's no escape the brightness you now emit. Number 3, karma's timing is exquisite. Karma has a peculiar way of operating, and its timing is always spot on. Your opponent spent the whole year believing they got away with the lies, manipulation, and negativity they flung at you. However, karma does not follow a schedule. It has been waiting for the appropriate opportunity to strike. What better time than the holidays? While the rest of the world is celebrating, your opponents are silently unraveling as the consequences of their deeds catch up with them in unexpected ways. This is not a little push from the universe. It's a complete reality check. Plans they believed were infallible suddenly fail. Financial difficulties struck harder. Relationships fall down. And the energy they release into the world returns back to them with a fury. The traps they laid for you have now ensnared them. But here's a twist. All of this is occurring at a time when they most need things to run well. The holidays are intended to be a time of peace and joy, but your opponents see them as total pandemonium. They're struggling to hold their lives together as the weight of their own decisions crushes them. And since karma like irony, they are forced to confront it all while seeing you prosper. Everything they did to prevent you from achieving pleasure, prosperity, and stability is now beyond their grasp. They may put on a brave front, but behind the scenes, things are a shambles. The cosmos has a way of balancing the balances, and their demise is as spectacular as their efforts to drag you down. This is karma's perfect timing at work, not out of spite, but to remind people that what you sow is what you get. Right now, their harvest is everything but joyous. Number 4, the energy drain seems like a punishment. Your energy was their lifeblood, even if they never confessed it, whether via relentless criticism, manipulation, or just being in your company. They depended on you to fill their void. Your energy was more than simply what they sought. It was something they needed. But now that you've removed it, they're left flailing, attempting to fill a vacuum that nothing else can. They are affected by more than simply your absence. It's a sharp reminder of how much they relied on you. They used your optimism, resilience, and emotional depth to hide their own anxieties and faults. Without your energy to hold them up, their actual selves are completely shown. They are spiritually depleted, emotionally empty, and psychologically disoriented, since they can no longer draw from the well. That is you. What makes matters worse for them is that your exit was not spectacular, nor spiteful. It was deliberate and quiet. You did not shout, protest, or explain yourself. You just went away, valuing your quiet, and left them with nothing but silence. And the stillness is deafening. They are left to deal with questions they cannot answer. Why aren't you interacting anymore? Why don't you care? Why does their world seem so little without you? There is no substitute that works. They may attempt new friendships, diversions, or other sources to fill the need, but it does not feel the same. Your energy was more than simply distinctive. It was irreplaceable. And now, as they sit in the vacuum of their own creation, they must face a difficult fact. They didn't just lose you, they have lost the greatest part of themselves that only you could bring out. Your energy drain is the penalty they didn't expect. Number 5, their facades start to break. The Christmas season is harsh for people who depend on facade. It calls for smiles, warmth, and connection. However, for your adversaries, these issues are merely superficial. They've spent the year creating a picture of success and happiness, hoping that the world, and maybe even you, would believe the lie. However, the burden of pretending becomes stronger this time of year, and their carefully made masks begin to fracture. Behind closed doors, they are everything from the self-assured, collected individuals they portray. The forced grins in family portraits do not reach their eyes, and the tales they tell about their accomplishments ring hollow even for them. The difference between who they claim to be and who they really are becomes difficult to ignore. They can't pretend happiness when they're filled by anger and regret, and they can't fake success when their lives are unraveling in ways they can't control. The holidays are meant to be about giving and thanks, but for them, it's a time to reflect. Oh, they witness others enjoying true victories, surrounded by love and genuineness, yet they are stuck rehashing their mistakes. The more they attempt to pretend everything is all right, the clearer it becomes that it isn't. Those around them see the cracks, the fake laughter, the frantic energy, and the way they avoid genuine interactions. What they sought to conceal for a year is now on plain display. They spent so much time attempting to bring down others, including you, that they disregarded their own development. And now, amid the bright lights of the Christmas season, their hollow achievements and shallow lives can no longer be hidden. Their masks disintegrate, exposing them to the reality they tried so hard to conceal. They constructed their lives upon illusions, and it's all falling apart. Number 6, they are plagued by your forgiveness. Forgiveness is powerful, but it may be upsetting for people who anticipated revenge when you choose to rise above their plans and let go. It did not liberate them. It made them realize their own guilt. They could have expected you to fight back, sink to their level, or be angry, but instead you went away gracefully. That choice bothers them more than any vengeance ever could, because it compels them to confront the consequences of their own acts without the diversion of combat. Forgiving you removes their capacity to defend their actions. They can no longer blame you or justify their behavior. Instead, they are left gazing at the stark reality. They mistreated someone who refused to succumb to their pettiness. This fact eats away at them, particularly around the holidays, when contemplation is unavoidable and they are surrounded by symbols of peace and kindness. They did not extend to you. No gift, diversion, or celebratory celebration will alleviate the agony of knowing they attempted to kill someone who chose peace over retribution. Every time they see you prospering or learn about your accomplishments, they are reminded that you didn't just survive their attempts to harm you. You surpassed them. And the lack of your rage exacerbates their shame. They are faced with an internal fight from which they cannot escape. Forgiveness does not undo what they done, it amplifies it in their thoughts. It compels people to reflect on their behavior and ponder why they allowed their anxieties or envy drive them to harm someone who eventually rose above it all. You did not cause the anguish. It's a result of their own decisions. And now, in this season of joy and redemption, they are plagued by the same grace they took for granted. Number 7. Your absence causes people to rethink their significance. Your absence speaks louder than your presence has ever done for those who have constructed their identity around opposing you. Whether via jealousy, sabotage, or continual criticism, the knowledge that you have moved on is heartbreaking. They lived on the back and forth of attempting to elicit a response, as well as the false assumption that they were important because they were in your circle. However, now that you've walked away, they're forced to face an unpleasant fact. Without you, they feel unimportant. This is not just about your silence. It's about the vacuum you've caused in their life. They spent so much energy focused on you, your wins, your progress, and your character that they overlooked their own. Now that you're gone, they have nothing to compare themselves to. Nothing to critique, nothing to feed their false feeling of superiority. What is left? A cavernous void that they don't know how to fill. Your absence also exposes how much of their identity was built on fighting you. Without you as their goal, they are lost. They may attempt to transfer their attention to someone else, but it will not have the same impact since their obsession was not on you as a person. It all came down to how you made them feel about themselves. You were a mirror reflecting their vulnerabilities, and suddenly the mirror is gone. The irony is that after working so hard to knock you down, your absence now makes them feel insignificant. They can no longer identify themselves via their efforts to outperform or undermine you. And while you rise above their pettiness and thrive in your peace, they are left in a state of self-doubt, wondering their importance. In a world where you've made it plain that they don't count, your absence more than anything else reveals their insignificance. Number 8. Their secrets emerge suddenly. The holidays are intended to be a time of joy and camaraderie, but for your opponents, they serve as a spotlight, exposing all the secrets they believed were securely buried. Whether it's a slip of the tongue at a family meal, a suspicious gaze at a Christmas party, or someone ultimately weary of preserving their quiet, the truth always comes out when they least expect it. Their previous deceptions do not simply haunt them. They meet them in real time, and there is no escape. It generally starts with family gatherings. People chat, and in the spirit of clearing the air, someone may finally mention the falsehoods they said or the drama they manufactured. It's the type of unpleasant tension that no amount of smiling or changing the topic can alleviate. Others begin to connect the connections, understanding that the picture they've been creating is not consistent with reality. Suddenly, the web of deception they've created falls apart in front of the individuals they most wanted to impress. Social gatherings are not any gentler. Gossip has a weird way of spreading around the holidays, and someone always knows more than they admit. Perhaps an old buddy makes a mistake, or a colleague offers information that reveals their hypocrisy. The joyous atmosphere only heightens the contrast between their outer demeanor and the facts coming to the surface, even inside their own circles. Cracks begin to appear, and those closest to them may begin to ask difficult questions, recognizing the discrepancies in their claims. It's not only humiliating, it isolates the facts they've worked so hard to conceal. They're now following them everywhere, and they're struggling to keep the damage under control. But the holidays are relentless, and once those secrets are out, they can't be hidden again. Number 9, they cannot escape the universe's judgment. The cosmos doesn't follow a human time frame. It surely doesn't care about Christmas happiness for your adversaries. This season serves as a sharp reminder that the balances of justice are constantly at work, no matter how much people attempt to deny it. They may put on a phony grin, or engage in distracting activities such as shopping sprees, lavish parties, or costly celebrations. But behind the surface, their lives are collapsing in ways they cannot control. Illness affects not only the physical body, but also the emotional and mental state. Sleepless evenings, unexplained lethargy, and even blatant health difficulties serve as a harsh reminder that their choices have repercussions. The burden of keeping up appearances while coping with internal anguish becomes too great, and fractures begin to surface. Financial difficulties may not be as severe as bankruptcy, but they are likely to undermine their false feeling of security. Unexpected debts, failing businesses, or depleting finances serve as reminders that shortcuts and deception can only go so far. Even worse are the emotional breakdowns. They are unable to conceal the weight of their shame, jealousy, and unresolved problems, which express in ways they cannot avoid. Relationships, pressure, and disputes break out, and their carefully manicured environment becomes less stable by the day. They are often reminded that no amount of deception can outrun the universe's judgment. This isn't about karma or petty retribution. It's all about balance. The energy they send out, whether it's malice, manipulation, or negativity, comes back to them threefold. The timing couldn't be more ironic. Others enjoy the season with enthusiasm and kindness. They are dealing with a cosmic reckoning that no gift or celebration can resolve. The universe's judgment is neither loud nor showy. It's silent, relentless, and inescapable. And this Christmas season, it's catching up with them in ways they never expected. Number 10. Your success alters their story. Your accomplishment has caused them the greatest discomfort. For so long, they lived on tales that painted you as inept, foolish, or doomed to fail. These falsehoods enabled them to feel superior and acquire social status at your cost. But suddenly, your success has upended their carefully built narrative, leaving them scurrying to explain the sharp difference between their claims and your reality. Your victories are more than simply personal, they are public. Your accomplishments, whether they be a new job, a growing company, improved relationships, or just the obvious glow of someone who is thriving, cannot be overlooked. Mutual friends, colleagues, and even family members start to notice. Suddenly, the tales your opponents told you began to unravel. The version of you they depicted does not match the successful, resilient person standing in front of everyone right now. As people begin to doubt their trustworthiness, the tables turn on them. Previously, they leveraged your perceived flaws to obtain pity or attention. They are currently under inquiry. Why were they talking so much about you in the first place? What was the true motive behind their criticism? The seeds of doubt they sowed about you are now working against them, destroying the trust they fought so hard to build. What makes it even more fulfilling is that your accomplishment shouts louder than any defense you could possibly mount. You didn't have to oppose their lifestyles or join in their pettiness just to thrive. You have shattered their false narrative. The people around them begin to realize the truth for themselves, leaving your opponents exposed. Their hatred and insecurities were laid bare. Your accomplishment is more than simply a victory for you. It's an epiphany that makes everyone realize who they really are. Number 11. The holidays increase their loneliness. The holidays are a time for connection, pleasure, and shared warmth. However, for your foes, They expose a gap that no decorating or celebration can replace. While the globe celebrates family meals and holiday traditions, people are forced to deal with the repercussions of their own decisions. The jealousy, hatred, and resentment they put into their relationships have left them lonely and surrounded by the holiday cheer. The emptiness is awful. They miss the ties they previously took for granted or destroyed out of malice, the friends they manipulated, the loved ones they drove away, and even the bridges they burnt in their efforts to damage you are all frightening memories today. These aren't insignificant losses. These are the kinds of relationships that add significance to the Christmas season. And as they read through social media accounts full of laughing, parties, and Christmas pleasure, the hollowness of their own lives becomes more apparent. No amount of gift-giving or surface-level celebrations can conceal their loneliness. They may attempt to divert themselves with great gestures or superficial relationships, but they sense something is missing. People they want to reconnect with are either hesitant to return or thrive in places they can no longer visit, yours included. What makes matters worse is the glaring contrast between what they see and what they experience. They are surrounded by symbols of unity, but lack the emotional depth to feel it. The irony is harsh but perfect. The connections they destroyed in the quest of control or supremacy are now the ones they need the most. During this season of love and introspection, they're left with nothing but the echoes of their own decisions, a loneliness that's all the more painful since it's their own fault. Number 12 is to observe your benefits. The last twist in their tale occurs when they are compelled to see your blessings unfold, blessings they once attempted to prevent or diminish. This is not just poetic justice. It's a first-hand look at the power of resilience, grace, and a larger plan working in your favor for them. It's the cruelest irony. Every victory you gain, every moment of delight you have, serves as a stark reminder of their inability to keep you back. Your light doesn't just glow, it blinds them. They watch you flourishing, surrounded by the riches they thought they could disturb. Their jealousy is fueled by the laughter of your true connections, the success you've achieved through persistence, and the tranquility you carry. While they sink in self-inflicted agony, you celebrate achievements they never expected. What hurts the most is that they are unable to look away. Social media postings, common acquaintances, and even incidental references of your name compel them to face your progress. They recognize that their plans and hostility were not just useless, they fueled your ascension. The more they attempted to dampen your brightness, the brighter you seemed. This Christmas season becomes their own purgatory, while the world celebrates joy and togetherness. However, they are devoured by the bitterness of watching you succeed. They may attempt to disregard it, minimize it, or tell themselves it is unimportant. But deep down, they understand the reality. Your blessings are evident, unstoppable, and deserving. Their sadness is not limited to what they have lost. It's about something they can never take from you. And that, more than anything else, is what seals their hellish vacations. The holidays, which are frequently seen as a time of joy and regeneration, become a reckoning for those who have sowed seeds of jealousy, hate, and manipulation for their opponents. It isn't the glittering lights or joyous parties that define their season. It's a sharp reminder of what they've lost, what they've done, and what they can no longer deny. Their lives become a mirror, reflecting the outcomes of their decisions. While you are gone, prosperity and tranquility exacerbate the emptiness they're frantically trying to ignore. But here's the truth. Their difficulties aren't your concern. The anguish they are experiencing is not about vengeance. but about cosmic equilibrium, a spontaneous unfolding of justice orchestrated by the cosmos without your intervention while they are wrapped up in their own mess. You're prospering, shining brighter than ever, and preparing for a future free of their negativity. Let this Christmas season serve as a reminder of your perseverance and progress. You opted to rise above the fray, to let your actions speak louder than their words, and to concentrate on what is actually important. Your peace mission and those who really support you, their pain, disintegration, and loneliness are only reflections of their own deeds, and that is not your responsibility to bear. So while they navigate their holidays, consider how you celebrate a season of victory and development. The route you took was not easy, but it was worthwhile. You've abandoned the poison, accepted your truth, and walked into a light that no one can refute. This is your time. Cherish it, and keep moving ahead with the confidence that the best is yet to come. Allow the universe to handle the rest. If this message spoke to you, if you felt empowered, noticed, or inspired, you're just where you should be. This is more than just a channel. It's a place to grow. Truth and uncompromising authenticity. By subscribing, you are not just joining a community. You're joining a movement of like-minded individuals that value knowledge, strength, and self-mastery. Hit the subscribe button and enable alerts because the trip does not end here. There is so much more to discover, learn, and enjoy together. Don't just observe from the sidelines. Join this exceptional family as they rewrite the rules, embrace their power, and thrive like never before. Subscribe today and let's continue our quest to greatness. Your best self is waiting, and we're here to help you make it a reality. Let us rise together.